Hey guys, in this video I'm playing Shapes.io on this standalone version, and this will be a few quick tips and tricks on compacting machines. So the first tip on compacting factories is learning the ratio of each machine to a full belt to optimize efficiency of each factory you make. So the ratio should be displayed up on screen right now. If you use each ratio, such as 5 color mixers to 1 belt, it will mean that you are using the minimum required number of machines to accept and fill an entire belt of shapes. A quick side note is that once you reach tier 7, each factory will actually need one more machine than the shown ratio. This is because the belts are going so quickly, the game is not able to keep up with the pace of the machines. The second tip on this list is tileability. Making your machines as tileable as possible will allow them to be more compact. As you see with this color mixer, I'm able to place each color mixer right beside each other because of the way I've designed it to be tileable. So now if we input it in, we will see that the machine will eventually produce a full belt of cyan. There we go. Now, there are two ways to make tileable machines. You can make them vertically, where the machines are on top of each other and the inputs are collected to the side. Or you can make them horizontally, where each machine is to the side of each other and the inputs are collected on top. Now, as you can see in this example, both of the machines are the exact same area. So most of the time, either way is roughly the same size. So you can make them in whichever way you prefer. But I generally prefer horizontally because it allows you to stack them on top of each other. Tip number 3 is to have compact balancer designs, like so. Now, it may seem obvious to some people, but each machine in your factory does not actually need to have an equal input to all the others. As you can see in this demonstration, the first machine will actually get 50% of the shapes, but once it backs up, it will allow the rest of the shapes to go to the second machine. And once this backs up, it will continue, like so. Now, I see a lot of new players using designs like this, where they just split the input evenly between multiple balancers. Now, that will allow your machines to have an even input, but if your entire factory can process one belt as input, it won't matter. And it's simply more compact. A little trick which I wanted to add on to that is with the compact merger. Now, a very easy way to collect an output of an array of machines is to simply place a compact merger on the output and to connect them all with a belt. Now, if you don't have the compact merge yet, another way with the balancer is to simply place them like this and connect each output to each balancer and connect the balancers together. And now you have a very compact output system, which all feeds into one belt. Now, a little trick which you can use to compact things is to use double tunnels. Now, for those who don't know what double tunnels are, it's when you have a setup like this, where you have some tunnels on a line, but then you can interlace them with the tier 2 tunnels, and this allows you to transport 2 belts of items which span only a single line. So if we use this in practice, let's say we have this machine. Let's say we wanted to have 2 of these, so something like this, really close to each other, right? We could have something like this, where the first output is just let past, and the second output is tunneled up, and this design is copied over. Or we can use a more compact design, where we interlace the tunnels. Now, this may look like a spaghetti mess, and it is, but it is much more compact than this. As we can see how far these outputs are spread out compared to this. It is 3 tiles more compact. Now, this does take more time to make and think out, but if you're going for maximum compactness, this is your way to go. Now, the 5th little tip in this video is to stack machines on top of each other. So let's say we have these 2 machines where we want to combine 2 paints and then paint a shape. So now what we could do is just combine all the outputs from the paint and hook it straight into the painter. Then we hook up the shade of it and it will all work just fine. Or if you want to compact it even more, what we can do is hook the painters, hook the color mixers straight into the painters, avoiding this collection step. To do this, all I have done is taken the color mixers and removed the output and taken the tunnel part of the painters and just placing it in the output. Now the color mixers will go straight into the input of the painter, and now you have a much more compact machine. The sixth tip on this list, which is not really a tip and more of advice, is to try to avoid using these specialized buildings when going for compactness, like the double painter and the quad painter. As you can see, the double painter is more resource efficient, as it only takes one paint per two shapes, but when it comes to space efficiency, the standard painter wins. And for the quad painter, well, that's neither resource efficient nor space efficient. Generally, cutting up the four corners and painting them individually will be more resource efficient, or will be more or be more or just as space efficient as having quad painters. And the quad painter takes 4 paints for one shape, where the standard painter only takes 1. Meaning, you should generally avoid the quad painter, unless you're going for a very specialized shape, or maybe it's a challenge. Another small little tidbit to remember is that rotators will rotate at the same speed as the belt, assuming that they're the same tier. As you can see, rotators are 30 items a second, and so are the belts when you're tier 7, right? So instead of rotating right after each machine, we can actually get rid of these rotators, move these mergers down, and simply rotate at the end of the machine. Now this will be the same speed as this one, but it's much more compact. And the final tip for this video is to go wild. Go make a 7-layered factory cake if you want to, or make a massive array of painting modules and connect them all up, as long as you enjoy it. Remember, this game has an infinite amount of space and infinite resources. You can make whatever you want. You can make these massive machines, or be a compact minimalist like me. Do whatever, as long as you enjoy doing it. Go for it. Well, that's going to conclude my video on compacting machines. Subscribe if you want to, but make sure to comment below on what you would like to see in future Shapes.io vids. And I'll see you next time. Adios.